about. So I'm like, I need to come up with a title.
Yeah.
What do you want to call this?
Oh, I don't. Molly and her family sweat their face off at the end of May when it's unseasonably warm in Disney World. That's a good one.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Disney with the Ducks. You have me today, Jodie B, and I am so excited to be joining with my wonderful friend, Molly. Molly, how are you today?
Hi, everybody. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. Molly is not only a friend of the podcast and has been on the show before talking about Princess Race Recap.
Disneyland.
Disneyland. I
Remember
think it was
Disneyland.
yeah, Disneyland race recap. Oh, I can't say that right now. And I begged her to come back and give a little trip report of a family trip. So, because everybody loves Molly and she's great, I encourage you to go on your podcaster of choice and please give a 5-star review if you have the opportunity. It helps new people try to find our podcast. And we want to make new friends, just like Molly and I became friends a couple of years ago. And also, if you are not part of our Facebook page, please go and join that. Sometimes we have some silly things on there, sometimes some serious questions that come up, like, where should I eat tonight? Which restaurant? Well, I'm in Disney World, very serious content. So please go and join that group as well. So anyway, all the business is now taken care of, and we can get into the fun part. So Molly, it is June 2025, and not long ago, you and your family went on a trip to Walt Disney World.
We did.
Why don't you tell me about the dates you went and why you went?
Of course, happy to do so. So we went right before Memorial Day. I guess you could call it Memorial Day weekend. We were there the 21st through the 25th of May. We flew in. I told my kids, I'm like, this is a race schedule for me normally, flying in late on a Wednesday night, doing all the things, and then flying back out on Sunday night, and then being very tired the next day when I usually have to go to work on Monday. But thankfully, that was Memorial Day, so we got a little bit of a rest. But it was a great trip. I have 3 kids. We only took 2 of them this time, so that was kind of a different dynamic for us. Doing it with our twins who are 17. They're wrapping up 11th grade, I guess now rising seniors since it's the summer. Very exciting.
All the things next year.
You know what that's like. So yes, we are in a treat for not just 1, but 2 seniors. The class of 2026. So just wanted to take another trip. I mean, as a Disney fan, I could go to Disney World all the time. I'm very fortunate that I get to go many times for race weekends, but not always with my family. The last time we were there was August, which I had never been in August before and was warned it was the surface of the sun. But guess what? This trip was hotter than August. The highs were in the mid 90s every day. The real feel was close to 100 degrees. I was dying.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
That's craziness. Okay. So it had been, let's see, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 9 months since you were there last. I had to use my
counting.
And I'm like, wait, how long was that? So 9 months since you were all there at last. So what made you decide to go in May of this year? Were your kids finished with school yet? Or was it the end of their school year? Or because typically those of you live on the East Coast, and typically my recollection is that East Coast schools tend to go a little bit later.
That's correct. Yes, we're in Rhode Island. So our kids wrap up in the middle of June. It's very late. So we have been looking at different weeks for a trip. I know we have here the February and April vacation weeks. Those just didn't work out with everyone's schedule. And we thought with some time off the kids had already, my son had a virtual day that Friday, they wouldn't be missing that much school. And right before Memorial Day weekend, the teachers didn't really have a lot of heavy hitting academic topics. So it worked. My kids, we've done weeks before, we've taken them out for a full week and they've definitely struggled with that. So that's why we doing a little bit shorter of a trip and trying to pony it up with a holiday. We knew that it wouldn't be too hard for them to come back.
That's great. Good timing. All right. So you plan this trip when? How far in advance?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question that I wasn't prepared for. I
I'm gonna throw a
I
curveball at you.
right? Oh, no.
The hard-hitting questions.
I'm gonna say it was earlier this year, so the beginning of 2025. Again, just kind of with our schedules, my husband and I's work schedule, the kids' school schedule, it seemed like a fun time, and we thought traditionally we do a week-long trip. When we went in August, the guys, my two sons and my husband were definitely kind of burning out on the 7 days of Disney, which my daughter and I were like, you guys are crazy. We could go for 2 weeks straight. So we decided a shorter trip where we were doing 3 full park days would be a nice kind of hitting in the middle there. So we wanted to try that out. Thought that would be a good mix. And we were doing a brand new resort to us. We were staying at All Star Music, which we had never stayed at before. And we stayed in a family suite. I'd
Oh,
heard a lot
I'm
of
so
good things
excited
about
to
it.
hear about this because
Yes.
I don't know if you know Dave. He's a lizard and a friend of the show. He and his family, I hope this is okay. I'm sharing this with everyone, but they're going to stay at the All Star Music Suites for marathon weekend
Oh,
because he
fun.
has two grown kids and he was like, there will be plenty of space. Will be a great idea. I have heard nothing but great things about these suites. So please tell me all about it because I am quite intrigued.
We loved it. I would highly recommend it. So I said we traveled with two of our children. So normally with three kids who are all older teenagers, I have two 17-year-olds and a 19-year-old, we typically get two hotel rooms, which is very expensive, even when staying at the All Stars to get two rooms. And we usually go for a week and we are spending a lot of money on accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd heard about these, I'd watched some virtual tours from different sources, and it seemed like a good layout. So when you first walk into the room, you have two Murphy beds there. Perfect for my kids. I have boy girl twins who do not want to share a bed. So they both had their own bed. They have their own bathroom. There are two bathrooms in this unit. That's amazing. So they
Oh,
have a
that
bathroom.
is
They can muck up with all their kid stuff and they can leave towels everywhere. And my daughter's hair goes everywhere and we don't have to deal with it. Perfect. There's also a small kitchen, which is fantastic. We had some groceries delivered, had those dropped off the first day. So that was nice just to have an actual fridge. Because if
so
anyone is,
but
go
no
ahead.
oven or anything, just like a little kitchenette with a fridge, microwave.
Correct.
Really good,
Yeah,
good.
some counter space. There was a sink there, which was nice to have, some extra outlets. So with our food too, we could kind of stack up. I think there's some open shelving where we put our dried goods and to have the full size fridge. We've had groceries delivered before. They do not fit in the mini fridges and the mini fridges don't get that cold.
Cold. Yeah.
I always feel a little weird about putting milk. We often get string cheese and it just yeah, it isn't as cold as our fridge at home.
Yeah.
This was nice to have a dedicated actual refrigerator in the unit.
Okay. So
And then
two Murphy beds and then a full size bed and this kind of not full kitchen with the oven and everything, but a pretty nice size kitchen with
yeah,
a full size refrigerator. Now,
definitely.
when I have looked at prices for these, staying at the in the suites has been more affordable than getting two rooms in other places. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like if you have a discount, like there's that awesome 40% AP discount going on right now, or there's all sorts of different discounts all the time. But sometimes it doesn't work out as well. But a lot of times you can get this awesome suite. And I agree with you. Having teens with a boy girl and having their own space in their own bed. And I had no idea. I think I knew it had two bathrooms, but now that you just confirmed that, I'm like, two bathrooms is amazing. That's
Fantastic. And our bedroom had a door. So we could get back at the end of the night, like, okay, good night, everyone, love you, and just close the door.
yeah.
And
Like
then
if
we
you
have
guys
a
want to watch
bedroom.
TV or do whatever, have fun.
Yes, and two TVs as well. So there's the TV out with the Murphy beds, there's a TV in the bedroom, and then we have our own bathroom too, which is more traditional. You walk through the sink area to get to where the toilet and the shower is. Fantastic. We all have our own space. We can spread out. It's great. Nobody's on top of each other. It was awesome. Highly recommend it. Would definitely stay there again. I mean, it is an all-star. If you've stayed at an all-star, you know what you're getting into. Not the same kind of dining options that might be available at moderate and deluxe resorts, but it works. It
Yeah,
totally works.
no different than Pop Century, really, right? Like
Yeah,
same the
that's true.
accommodations, the
Yeah.
rooms and everything are pretty similar,
Mhm.
right? I mean, other than Pop having Skyliner, but
That's true, right. You are just on the buses, but I mean, the same layout with the buses that they all meet up in front. You're not having a resort bus that circles around as well. And there's a food court. So yeah, it it gets the job done for sure. And if you are a family that might traditionally have 2 hotel rooms, this is much more affordable to use
And
the
I
family.
think, a family of 5, that's always tricky to find accommodations for 5 because you like
Mhm.
you said, in the past, you've done 2 rooms, which can get really, really pricey. I mean, so this is a great option. Well, I'm glad to hear that you liked it and that it was a good fit for your family. I think it's something to keep in mind and not something that we talk about often enough. So thank you for sharing that part because
Of course.
I'm always like, "Oh, that is a great option." There is place to spread out, and you don't have to be right on
Mhm.
top of each other.
Mhm.
We're getting ready to head to Europe, and I don't think my kids have any idea how tiny everything is there, and
So
that we're
small.
going to be on top of each other, and
Yes.
they're just going to
Yes.
have to suffer. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. We Americans are used to a lot more space. I mean, and at the end of the day, do you really need that much space? Probably not, but we're used to it
My
and the giant suitcases and everything that goes along with
my
it.
only requirement was air conditioning
Mm,
because I was
which
like,
can be hard to
"Sorry,
find in Europe.
I have to have," which was yeah, that narrowed my search down a lot. So,
Air
anyway.
conditioning and ice cubes can be hard to come by.
I I could live without ice now. My 14-year-old, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, okay, back to your trip. So it was the end of May. It was blazing hot.
It
You
was.
flew in on a you said a Wednesday night or a Thursday night?
Wednesday night,
Wednesday
yes.
night. Okay, so you fly in on Wednesday night. You get there. Do you do anything that evening, or do you just kind of get settled and call it a night?
We did not because our flight was supposed to arrive right before midnight. We were delayed about a half an hour, so we knew that we were just getting in, getting bags, going to the hotel, and going s to sleep.
And did you
We
Uber to the hotel, or did you take the mirrors or something? How did you get there?
we did use a car service. We tried Away We Go for the first time, and it worked out well. We had a driver who was there. I mean, the poor man, we were delayed about 30 to 45 minutes, so he did have to wait for us. But yeah, the car was ready to go. Our bags took forever, as bags tend to do at MCO. So it was great to know that the ride was waiting for us, especially that late at night. And we have 4 full suitcases. We overpack. My whole family does. So, and my daughter brings an extra bag for her souvenirs. So
What
nice to know that we could fit it all and we'd get there.
Teenage girls, they tend to have all the things. I can't even tell you how much stuff my daughter brought for like a 2-day trip one time. It was ridiculous. And then now we're going to Europe, and I'm like, guess what, guys? You have to bring tiny stuff because we're renting a car at one point in time. And
Mm,
cars aren't big. So if we were just staying in one place, fine, whatever. But we're not. We're going different places and we're getting a car. And the cars have very tiny trunks. So
I love it.
should be fun. It will be interesting. Okay, so I've also heard really good things about Away We Go. I have not personally used it. I've had 3 or 4 friends use it, so that's good to hear that you've had a good experience with them also because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but gratuities are included when you book with them already?
That is correct. Yes. We have, in a past trip, we use Tiffany Town Car. And I will say the one difference with Away We Go is they did not provide a grocery stop. With
Okay.
Tiffany Town Car, that was included, and we had placed an order at Publix, so we were able to stop and pick up. We also got some pub subs, which was great to stop in and grab those. But both services, just nice to schedule ahead and have someone who will meet you there and just know that you have a vehicle that's ready to go. And that will fit all of your things.
Yeah.
We also, with the 4 of us and 4 big suitcases, we thought that maybe even trying to get an Uber Black SUV, we might not all fit into it. So knowing you had
Yeah,
that
and
guaranteed
at that
space.
time, you never know what's available, and that can just be
Exactly.
tricky, and the last thing you wanna be doing is sitting there with your luggage outside waiting for an Uber for an hour and a half, like, that's not fun, so
Dripping sweat in the hot humidity that is right outside of MCO baggage claim.
the hot, hot heat in May. May, people, this is May we're talking about. Okay,
Okay.
alright, so then you wake up and you get ready for day 1. So
Yes.
where do you how do you start your day?
So we normally, when my oldest comes along, he qualifies for the DAS pass. So we have been very thankful in that we have been able to travel in a very different style where we can roll into the park when we want and start booking rides at that point in time. My husband and I had gone back and forth since he wouldn't be with us. Do we just want to wing it? Will there be crowds because it's a holiday weekend? We weren't sure, so we ultimately purchased Lightning Lane Multipass for all 3 days for the 4 of us. And there were also a couple of individual Lightning Lanes that we purchased as well. Some rides that we knew we wanted to ride. We didn't want to chance it with standby lines to make sure we had guaranteed admission to get in. And so, I mean, with those, that did add on about an extra $500 onto our trip, but we just wanted to know that we could ride things since we're a family that's big into attractions.
Yeah.
That's why we go. We're typically a rope drop to park close. And so regardless of the crowds, we wanted to ride rides.
Yeah.
So we made sure that would happen.
And going over a holiday weekend, the crowds, I don't know what they were, but the crowds could be potentially quite high because everybody is off on that Monday. So a lot of people could be coming in town. A lot of schools, especially Southern schools, Midwest schools are already out of school. So they could be like, hey, let's hit the road and go right away. So I don't blame you for, not that I would blame you anyway, but I think that's a wise decision because you could possibly be walking into a very crowded park. And when it's hot like that and it's really crowded, the lines feel twice as long. Even though they're not, they just feel twice as long because you're just hot
Definitely.
and you're just
Mhm.
sweat. So, okay. So,
Definitely. But even knowing that we had Lightning Lane Multipass, that we had picked our 3 rides each day in advance, we still decided to rope drop. And I have never done a true rope drop where you are trying to get on the first bus from the resort. My family had never done it. I don't think they knew what they were getting into. So
okay.
I know, we started right away on our first day. We went to Epcot and we got out there and there were, maybe like 10 people in line in front of us for the bus. And I'm like, guys, we did it. Like, we're going to get on the first bus. This is the strategy. It's amazing. Told everyone to pack their patience pants because we would be waiting in a lot of lines. Our goal was to go to Guardians first. And
Okay.
we knew that's where a lot of the masses would be going. So we got into the park. I was the only one that didn't get stopped in security. I took a nice picture of my 3 family members all stopped, but thankfully there were no lines.
Umbrella, glasses case.
Who knows? It seems like every time we got stopped, the security guard would say something else. I think it was "you're this" that set it off. I think it was that. My son was holding the bag, was crunching the bag at the top. He did a separate bag to hold out in front of him. Wasn't holding it. Who knows? Who
Yeah, we
knows?
we
But
we always try to figure out the mystery, like what was it this time?
mhm.
And we never can quite figure it
Yes, I
out.
was definitely gloating as the one who
Like, what
didn't get that and
happened?
just waving from the other side. "Hello,
Yes.
everyone. I'm the one who goes to Disney all the time. I know what to do. I'm the expert." But, it went well. We got on Guardians with very minimal wait. We walked all the way up there once we were let through. There are a couple of points where they stop you at before you get to the attraction, but yeah, walked through the whole standby queue, got right into the first pre-show. Love those pre-shows. That ride is
The very first one?
phenomenal.
You were in the first pre-show?
We were, yeah,
Wow, so you
getting
were
getting
so
right in.
do you
We
happen to remember what time you got in line for the bus that morning?
Let me reference my photos and my timestamps because I took pictures of everything, wanting to document all of this.
Because you're smart.
I post to my Instagram story a lot, when I'm on these trips, and for this one, I was posting the little timestamp sticker that it gives you, and I was just getting a lot of eye rolls from everybody I knew back home who just don't get it.
Yeah, well,
So,
I would need you'll have to give me some Instagram lessons because I don't know how to do that, so but that would be
yeah,
helpful.
the picture I took at the bus stop was at 7:09.
Okay, and so what was early entry because you were staying on property? Do you remember what time it was that morning?
It was 8:30.
Okay.
So we were following the advice to be at the bus 90 minutes
Yes.
before early entry, that is when you'll get on the first bus, and it worked for a first day. It was great.
All right, I love it. And I think you're smart because you were on a bus and not the Skyliner. So starting at Guardians makes a whole lot of sense as opposed to like trucking it to the back of the park trying to get on Remy. If you had littles with you, maybe it would be over to Frozen, but I think that's a really brilliant strategy. And then, you know, you didn't have to spend the money on an individual lightning lane or fancy pants lanes, as I like to call them. Got that from, I forget which podcast calls them fancy pants, but I like
Love it.
the name of it. So that's great. That's a great strategy. Go finish Guardians first thing in the morning. Like
Completely.
get your adrenaline going.
Yeah.
Get all turned around and spun around. What song did you get?
Oh my gosh, what song did we get? Oh, we got Conga, which was my last one that I needed to complete
Oh,
this
you
day.
completed your
So it's one of those, I was in line, I'm like, "I need this," or we'll go with September because September's so amazing. And yeah, the song went off and I was like, "Yes, I did it."
yay, congratulations. Don't you
Yes.
think you need like a some sort of passport stamp or something to say like,
Yes.
"Sing all the songs."
Or give me a sticker or
Yeah,
something.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
For
it's fun.
sure. So, yeah, that was great. 3 of the 4 of us loved that ride. My son tolerated it. His face, all of our on-ride photos, poor Logan, we make him go on these rides, and he just is like his face is all scrunched up, and he's really bearing down, and it's like the tighter he scrunches his face, the less he'll feel the ride, but he's a trooper, and he goes. He doesn't wanna miss out on any of the fun. So we have many of those fantastic ride photos to remember things.
That's to
But
be treasured.
yeah. But we had a great morning. I'm looking through my list. We went on the Grand Fiesta Tour. That's a classic. Love that ride. We hit up the seas with Nemo and friends. We went on Soarin'. We did Living with the Land, also a fantastic ride. And then the way that it worked out, Remy had been down for a lot of that morning. So once we'd finished a few of those, we kind of meandered back to France. We had a lightning lane that, we're wondering, are we going to be able to get on? We're thinking we might pop over to Hollywood Studios after this. Mike stood in line to get a crepe, and we noticed that people were starting to go into the standby line, even though it was still showing that the ride was down. In the app, there wasn't a time that was up on the sign. So I called my kids over and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go talk to the cast members and see what's up? Send the kids down. And then I see Logan, who's like frantically motioning for us to come over. And so he's like, I just talked to the cast member. They said it's going to go back up. So if we go in the standby line, then we can ride with our lightning lane a second time. We can do 2 times in a row. So that
Smart
was the
thinking.
method we employed. So we walked right on, rode it once, and then we felt like real cool people just coming out the exit and going straight into the lightning lane and riding it a second time.
That is so fun. That is just a baller move. You're like, "Yeah,
It was
we just
fantastic.
owned Epcot. We
Yep,
just did this."
exactly. We
I love it.
had the crepe that Mike thought we were going to enjoy. We quickly cut into 4 pieces, and we are literally eating it as quickly as we can walk through the line to get on the ride. We figured they wouldn't let us board the vehicles with food in our hands.
Yeah. Was it a good crepe, I hope?
It was great. I couldn't even tell you what flavor he got. I was just like, "Oh, great. Think timing is perfect. Let's eat this as quickly as we can. Thanks for spending the money." It was
That's
great.
always the way it works. Like, when you think you have time, then you don't, yeah,
Mhm.
always, always. Okay.
So
So
much for enjoying it. But that
so
was our morning at Epcot. It was
and
fantastic.
and I just wanna make this very clear, Jean, do you hear this? They went on Remy not only once, but 2 times. 2, Jean, 2 times. Oh, balloons. And it did not break down on them. So it happens. That ride works for other people.
It it does, just for other people. They see him coming and they shut it down.
I agree. They must. They're like, "Jean's coming. Let's shut the ride down."
Exactly.
All right. So did you stay at Epcot longer? Or first of all, I should ask, was there a festival going on at this time?
There was, yes, there was a Flower and Garden Festival. We were
Flower and Garden.
catching the last couple of weeks of that.
Okay. So did you stay at Epcot and enjoy any of that, or did you decide to and did you have park hopper tickets?
We did, yes. When I was younger, my parents started buying Park Hopper, and I don't think I've ever been since then without Park Hopper. It feels right, even though I know it is a higher price point. Having that flexibility, you feel like you somehow get more out of your day if you squeeze in a second park or a third or a fourth, as crazy as you want to get.
Well, sometimes it's just one park may be really crazy and you're looking at the wait times in another park and you're like, why would I want to wait over here for 90 minutes for whatever when that over here has 30 minutes? Let's go over there. So it does give some flexibility. So good. All right. So again, I keep asking and keep interrupting. So you did Remy twice. What
Yes.
did you hang out there longer or
After that, we were ready to head over to Hollywood Studios. Before that, as we were kind of slowly moving around the World Showcase, we were enjoying some of the festival booths. I know we've always liked that. That was our lunch we kind of cobbled together at different places. We take photos of them. The kids kind of rate the dishes. I know they love getting the passports and circling things that they've tried, dog earing the pages of other things they want to try. We really enjoyed the chicken and waffle from the Honey Bistro. That was
Mhm.
great. I've had that in a past year, always very tasty. And then there was a duck confit gnocchi from France
Hmm.
that was surprisingly excellent. Uh, Not the greatest presentation, so we got it. We weren't super thrilled, but took a bite and like, wow, this tastes really amazing.
Sometimes, you just got to
It was
not look at it, but just eat it. So
For sure, yes. They don't always match with the beautiful photography that's awaiting you online and in the passport. But yes, the taste was great. So we were glad that we got to sample those items.
Good. And then did you take the Skyliner over, I'm
We
guessing,
did.
from Epcot to Hollywood Studios? Okay,
We
so
did. We did.
you get to Hollywood Studios, and what is your game plan there?
So we had some lightning lanes that once we knew we were done in Epcot, we started booking things over there as well. And I'm looking at my list, reminding myself, we just cruised through a bunch of things. We did Slinky Dog, Toy Story Mania, stopped in and listened to our friends at the
Wait a
Frozen
minute. Hold on.
Salon.
Hold on.
Yes.
You got Slinky Dog in the afternoon in
Mhm,
Hollywood Studios?
mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
very impressive.
I have very good lightning lane skills.
You do.
Pat myself on the back.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Good job.
We had all the headliners.
Wow, that's awesome. Good
Pleased
job.
to cruise through those. Runaway Railway, did Smuggler's Run, Alien Swirling Saucers. We did finally bid farewell to Muppet Vision 3D. Personally, I don't think it's the favorite ride of my kids. I think they think it's a little dated. But as a kid who grew up going to it with my own family, my parents and my brother, I love it. I love the jokes. I was taking pictures of all the different parts inside the queue. And then there was a PhotoPass photographer who was stationed outside of it once we got out of the ride and took some of my favorite photos ever. They did us seated around the fountain. They were, and at one of the shots, It's Wrap Pizza is illuminated up on the sign behind us from Pizza
Yeah.
Rizzo. That was fantastic. And then we did a picture in front of the Muppet Vision marquee. We're all making sad faces, like we're crying.
Well, that will be something that you will be able to look back on those photos and say, "Remember when this used to be Muppet Vision?" And have those documented photos. Another reason why I love taking pictures at the park because things change, and
Exactly.
I mean, it makes me incredibly sad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but I'm glad you had a chance to experience it one last time.
Completely. It's like how I have photos in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playset with my brother when we were growing up, sliding down the Kodak film slide, photos from the bygone era.
Yeah,
Nice to have those memories.
and those were probably real photos, not
Yes, they were real photos, yes, in
yeah,
a photo album, the kind with the
yep,
sticky back where you lift up the page and you stick it to the yeah,
yep. I have
fantastic.
my daughter got to experience that, but not our son. So it's just
Mhm.
funny. Like she on her first trip, that was still there, but not
Yeah,
for him. He has no
yeah,
idea what we're talking about. I think I've got a picture or two of her from my real camera that I lugged around the park.
amazing.
I know. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so how did you spend your evening? Anything exciting?
We did a Fantasmic dining package at 50's Prime Time.
Oh,
My family is a big fan of that. We did an early dinner. I believe our reservation was at 4:35 PM. Some people might still call that lunch, but that was all we could get, so it
I
worked
think
for
the
us.
dining packages, they are typically earlier
Mhm.
meals. Like, I think that's why you get the dining package is because you're eating
Sure.
at a bizarre time.
That makes sense.
I mean,
Fill in some of those empty
I've
tables.
only eaten at, like, very strange times when I do the dining package, so,
Okay.
that's my assumption. I don't know, maybe somebody's eating at 6:15 or 6:30. We've never had that. We've always eaten at 4 or something like that, so
Good to
alright,
know.
so good old 50s prime time. Did they give you a
It
hard
was
time and do everything they're supposed to there?
they did. My son Logan loves it. He loves giving it back to whoever our server is, so she identifies pretty early on that he's the troublemaker of the group, and yeah, it was great. We had a great time, good food, it's always consistent, love it. Since there was 4 of us and not 5, we actually got to sit at one of the little kitchens where you have the TV right there. Normally, we're off to the side at a different table, kind of peering through the window at the cuter set, so it was nice that we had that table. And
Anybody
then
get
we got to see Fantasmic that night.
Did anybody get the peanut butter and jelly shake?
We did not. I believe that was one of the options in getting the dining package was that you could get a shake, but our server let the kids know that if you get that, you probably won't be able to eat your meal. And as delicious as it sounds, I'm going to recommend something else on the menu. That
Got
was
it.
very kind of her.
That is kind, yeah. We typically get it, and if you get it there and then you ask for to-go cups, if one person gets it, then you can typically split it. So,
Oh,
little key for the future.
pro tip.
It is very filling. It is delicious, but it's very filling, so
I'm sure.
alright, so then you went to see Fantasmic.
We
So you
did.
didn't take a break during the day. You got up
Oh,
at 7, you rope dropped, you went through the whole day, and
No, we
now
were waiting for the bus at 7. We did not get up at
oh, yeah,
7.
that's true. You were in line for the bus at 7. Let me
I
correct
I
that.
believe I went to bed sometime between 1:30 and 2 AM after getting to our hotel so late because we arrived so late, and then
Mhm.
I woke up at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Well, you're
So
used to that. Run Disney. You're a pro.
exactly, that was sleeping in for a Run Disney Race
That is.
weekend.
That is. All right. So you go to Fantasmic, and then I'm assuming you go home after this, back to the resort after this, or
We did, especially because we were a little wet since we sat in row 5. There
oh,
was a lot of open seating in the front, and my kids were surprised that the seats so close to the front were all open, so we sat there and they didn't realize that we would just be covered in mist the entire show. It was great.
well, maybe it felt good because it was hot.
It was very hot, so yes, sure, we'll say that was nice and cooling, but, yeah, as soon as it started, my husband looked at me and he's like, "Is this gonna be the whole show?" I'm like, "Might be. Enjoy your seat." Yay.
Everybody
That's great.
just needs a little cool down, a little misting cool down from Fantasmic.
For sure. But it's always a great show, and it cracks me up how excited people get when characters come. I mean, Mickey comes out for the first time, and people are just like, "Wow!" They're screaming like they're at a rock
I
concert.
know. I know.
And then the other yeah, I mean, you see Moana, and then you have who's, I'm trying to think of who swings one of the male characters, he grabs something and he swings across, and people are screaming for that, and it's hilarious.
I can't re is it Aladdin? Is it
Yes, yes,
Aladdin? Yeah.
I think it
Like,
is Aladdin,
this
but I mean,
this
people losing their minds.
yeah.
Like, their favorite artist just came out on stage. It's just it's hilarious, and, Mickey has the fireworks shooting out of his hands, and people are like, "Ah!" They're just
Oh, you
here
know,
for it.
hey, brings people joy. Anything to bring people joy.
It does. It's heartwarming that people get so jazzed about that. I love it.
It
Love it.
That's good. We're
So,
here for all the
yeah.
fun.
Yep. But after that,
Okay.
it was just back to the resort, time to go to bed because we had to wake up and do it again in the morning. We got to wake up and do it again in the morning.
Okay, so you, get back to the resort, you all crash in your nice cold air conditioning, and you get up the next morning and it is still blasted hot.
Yes, obviously,
I mean,
because it's the end of
they
May, so of course it's 95 degrees
mm,
outside.
why
When
wouldn't
you
it be?
walk out of your hotel room at 7 AM and you are hit with that wall of heat and humidity, it's very punishing.
Mhm.
It's great. It's a great way to start the day. It makes your family really happy to be there.
I remember I was pregnant with Landon, and we were there. Lindsay was about 3, and again, I was shopping the big camera bag with the real camera, and I went to take a couple pictures of her because Daisy Duck had just, like, walked up to her, and I was like, "This is so cute." And my entire camera lens was fogged up still from leaving the air conditioning and going in the I hadn't
Mm,
even considered, like, take my camera out, get it acclimated to the hot weather, like, didn't even think about it. I'm
yep.
like, "Oh, didn't get any of that, like, cute little moment," because camera bag was, like, nice and cold still from the hotel, and it's
Mhm.
hot. It is hot.
That's
So,
Central Florida for you.
okay, so you decided to rope drop day 2,
Mhm.
and you're up at you're in line at 7 again?
Mhm. We did Magic Kingdom this day,
Okay, starting
and
with
I am very sad to report that we were the people who were cut off for the first bus. We just
uh,
just missed it, and it's one of those where I'm doing the calculations in my head, and I'm like, "Hmm, well, if this person had been a little bit slow leaving the room, if this person would've walked a little bit faster, we could've made this bus, but that's okay. We're still having a great time, and it's magical, and we're just gonna wait here for the next one." So that was a little bit of a bummer to start. And then we also had some family members who got stopped in security going into Magic Kingdom. So the people who did not get stopped, we sent ahead because there were already crowds lining up at those tap styles. I was starting to get anxious seeing everyone. It just the way that it's so spread out, but everyone's just keeps the lines keep forming farther and farther back towards Seven Seas Lagoon. And yeah, I was worried there were going to be a million people in front of us when we got into the park.
yeah.
But
So you get in, and then you're there for early entry for, resort guests. So
yes.
was your party all together at that point in time?
We were not. My husband got stopped. His security line was taking a long time, and then he did not want to come up to us where we were standing in line for the tap styles, despite us waving him like, "It's okay." And he's like, "No, it's fine. I'll stand back here. So the three of us went ahead, and I was like, "You're on your own. Good luck if you find us. We're heading for Seven Dwarves, but see you later."
So the only reason I ask is because it may have been Animal Kingdom. They were really crazy about like, is your entire party here?
Mm.
Like, not in the original, not where you like tap to get into the park, but when you tap that second one to prove that you're staying on property, um, they were very particular about like, as your entire party
Oh,
was in your room here, and I don't remember who or why was missing, and I was like, well, no, somebody is. They're like that. You all have to be together. I'm like, but why? Like,
oh wow.
we're all staying in the same room, but
Yeah.
so I was just curious. They gave you a or
We
hit
did not we did not encounter that. They just asked how many people, and I said 3 since it was just myself and my kids, and yeah, we just walked right through. It was nicer than Epcot where you're held at various points throughout the park. Magic Kingdom lets you go in and queue up at the ride that you're interested in riding first. So I thought that was nice, and I knew the pro tip about Seven Dwarfs that it starts to queue up along the rock wall, that many people make the error of going to the ride entrance only to learn that the line's back there, and you have to then snake back and you lose a few spots in line.
yeah.
So we just walked directly in. I told my kids, I'm like, this is where you power walk as fast as you can. And we're passing people left and right because we don't have any small children. And it's fantastic.
Now, you get in the queue there. Did your husband meet you at that point?
He did.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
he did. He did. And we had a bit of a wait because it had a delayed opening that day.
Mhm. It
So
tends to. I don't
yeah,
understand why, but
it, we realized it was 8:30. We heard music come on. And we're still standing there. We were also by Winnie the Pooh. We noticed they weren't moving as well. They clearly had a delayed opening. And then they sent characters out to have a dance party by us. And that's when I knew we might be standing here for a little while. My kids thought it was great. I was like, I know why they're doing this.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
look at this shiny thing over here, everyone. You won't pay attention to what's happening.
exactly. Yes, yes. But we did eventually get on a great ride. And by the time we were exiting the queue, it was 9 o'clock. So we figured, knowing we had lightning lanes, it was fine that we used up all of early entry with just one ride.
Yeah,
And that one we had not paid an individual lightning lane for. So that was our one time to ride it. And I was glad that we got to do that at Rope Drop.
good. Good
Mhm.
strategy. All right,
Yeah.
so you're at Magic Kingdom. How did you spend your morning?
We had a burner lightning lane for Dumbo, knowing
Okay,
that
so
once you can go
I
ahead.
know that strategy. You know that strategy, but explain to our listeners what you mean by a burner lightning lane.
Of course. So when you are setting up the lightning lanes from your lightning lane multipass in advance, you can select rides from certain tiers and you are locked into certain tiers. You couldn't pick all, we'll call them the fancy rides in tier one. But once you get to the park and you scan into your first ride of the day, doesn't matter what it is, you essentially unlock any attraction, any tier, and you can start going wild with your bookings. So I'd heard from other people to select a ride. I mean, really any ride, but maybe something you know will have a very low wait time. So you can walk right on with your lightning lane. And as soon as you tap in, you can start selecting those other rides that you were unable to book before.
It's a great strategy. You call them kind of throwaway rides or burner rides, but I think where people get confused and people are hesitant to do it is you think, well, I can't book a tier one until I use my tier one, and that's not true. So you can use one of these tier twos, and it opens up everything, including tier one options. So good choice. So you go, but you do have to tap in. So
You do,
that's you
yes,
can do. So you go over to Dumbo, and
we do.
you're right there by Seven Doors, so you're not far.
Exactly.
So you tap into Dumbo. Do you actually ride it, or do you
We
just tap
did.
in? Okay,
We did. No, we did ride it, and my kids were kinda like, "We're gonna do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun." I had a friend who suggested we do that as our burner lightning lane and had said it's a delightful ride in the morning. So
it
it
is.
was it was it was delightful, and the kids rode behind us, so we got to shoot some video of we're on it, and the kids are behind while my daughter's waving, my son's making a face, as 17-year-old boys are wont to do.
Yes. So the good strategy. So then it opened up everything else for you. So how do you spend the rest of your day?
We had a reservation at Crystal Palace, which we had never done before. That was new to us. My daughter desperately wanted to do it and meet Winnie the Pooh and friends. I was a little taken aback because I knew that was in the meat of the morning when we could really crank through some other rides with relatively low wait. But again, knowing that we had lightning lanes booked for the rest of the day and could start modifying, could start picking different tiers, I was less concerned about it. So we had breakfast at 9:30 It was great. It was air conditioned, which was fantastic. I mean, even to my son who kind of rolls his eyes at characters, like, Piglet comes around and he poses for a picture with Piglet and poses with Tigger, and it's fantastic. I was so excited to try the churro Mickey waffles, which I had heard a lot about, and that might be the best thing I have ever eaten at Walt Disney World is
Very good.
I don't know if you want to call them a churro Mickey waffle, a Mickey waffle churro style. I don't know, but they were fantastic.
They're the best, and
Compared to the regular ones.
they are the best thing ever. And they have them on Disney Cruise Line only on certain
Oh,
days. Like typically, sea days, they will have them on Disney Cruise Line. I'm obsessed with them. And I don't like super sweet breakfast items. I find
mm.
like I want something savory and maybe it's because we're runners or whatever. I feel like I need some protein or something with hearty. But man, I could eat my body weight in those Mickey churro waffles. Add a little bacon by them. Oh, that is good breakfast. I don't think I knew. I haven't eaten at Crystal Palace since Tim and I were dating. We got married in 2001, so it's
Okay.
been a hot
Been a
minute.
minute.
So yeah, maybe we're gonna have to add that to our agenda next time because I will do anything for a Mickey churro waffle.
It was great. My husband, I told him they were there. He went up first. He was a little hungry and he just got the regular ones. I was like, "What are you doing? Waste of time." And he took one bite of the regular ones. I was like, "These are fine." But then he tried the churro and was like, "Okay, I want to get a whole plate full of these." I agree. I'm not a big sweet breakfast person. I'm not into the pastries. I'm not into super sugary stuff, but oh my God,
I know. I don't know what it is about them. They're
they're
delicious.
they're so
They're
good.
really
Right. It
good.
was like, how many times can I go back up and just get these before I start getting judged by the cast members? It's
Yeah, I don't
unlimited.
think there's any judgment. I think they know how good they are too, and they're like, "Yeah, you are a smart woman. Fill your
Mhm,
plate with
mhm,
those." Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
So that was great. Had a nice little visit with Winnie the Pooh on the way out. My daughter had decided on this trip that she was gonna meet more characters, so we let her go up first, and I took some video as she was greeting Pooh, and he kissed her hand, and it was very sweet.
Oh, love it.
So, yeah, that was a nice little start to the morning.
All right, so
Got
then
everyone a little more invigorated after having to wake up so early.
good. So then you go crush the rest of your day at Magic Kingdom
We did, yeah. Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, Pirates, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Tiana's. I mean, just cruise through everything.
right after, one
It was
after.
great.
That's
It was
awesome.
great. Loved it.
That's where I think making the decision to purchase Lightning Lane really does. I mean, you can just get through so much more. I mean, and yeah, it's not cheap, but you want the second you tap in, you just keep going. So
It's so convenient. It's such a time saver. And when you have spent so much money to go on these trips, you've paid for the flights or you have driven such a long distance, you've paid for the resort, which is not cheap. And even the All Stars is not cheap when you have multiple nights you're staying there. You paid for park admission, that's expensive as well. And you're just kind of thinking if how much is our time worth? How much time could we save adding this on? Or is there a place where we could maybe make a cut? I mean, for us, staying in a family suite instead of booking 2 hotel rooms, we had a bit of a savings there versus some of our other trips. So we decided to put that money towards the lightning lanes.
yeah, good choice. Good choice. So anything else special or spectacular that happened to you at Magic Kingdom that day? Did you spend the whole day there?
We did not know. We hopped over to Epcot later that night.
Okay. And what did you do at Epcot?
That's where we had our Guardians individual lightning lane. So we
Okay.
knew we needed to make it back over there at a certain point. Also rode Spaceship Earth that night, and we knew that there were a few more food booths we wanted to hit up. We've traditionally gone in the fall and enjoyed the Food and Wine Festival. So we thought that would be fun for the kids to see a different festival, try some different foods. I know with my daughter, we'd watch some different influencers and their YouTube accounts where they're going around trying. So, we had an idea of what ones we wanted to try already. So that was always fun. And I was really excited to get the special Baumkuchen, is that how you pronounce it? That had some lavender on it, purple and edible flowers. It was great. I could eat my weight in those as well for not being a big sweets person.
Yeah. Well, I have yet to try one of those too, but
Oh,
I
it's
watched them make it for a little while last time, but I wasn't. That was after marathon weekend, and I was not feeling great that Monday after,
fun.
and then ended up being sick for like 2 weeks. So it was great. So I kept watching them make it. I'm like, that looks really great, but we got a slice of pizza. I'm like, I can't even eat the pizza. Which
Mm,
normally the day after a race, I'm like, I need all the food. And
right.
I knew that's when I knew something wasn't right. I'm like,
Mm,
I don't want any food. So
you know.
anyway, well, okay. So another fantastic day. Did you end up with fireworks there, or did you?
We did not. We thought it might be better to try to beat the crowds and head for the buses instead of seeing the show. We had seen it when we were there in August. So the kids had already checked it off and none of them loved it so much they felt they needed to see it again.
Good
So
plan. Sometimes beating the crowd is worth it.
I have a picture of my daughter leaned up against something sleeping in line for the bus. So it felt like we made a good call there. And our next day, we were rope dropping Animal Kingdom, which
Oh,
has an early entry of an hour earlier at 7:30. So we thought, yeah, let's beat the fireworks crowds, get out a little bit early.
okay, so really early start the next
Mhm.
day because Animal Kingdom, as you said, has the earliest start. So, what time were you in line for the bus that day?
We were not only the first ones in line for the Animal Kingdom bus at 6 a.m., we were the only people out for any bus anywhere. I took a video. It was just the four of us. I think it was at that point my husband was like, "Did you get the time right?" I'm like, Just wait. Just wait, they'll be coming."
You are a rock star. Definite. That
Felt
is, you get the fireworks for that
it
one.
was it was great. It was perfect. It felt like by day 3 of like, "I've nailed this. I got this." First ones on
That's when
the
you're just like,
bus.
are you thank you, fam? Like, come on, look what I did for you. Look what we're getting. Like private VIP.
I know. They're just not appreciative of the skills we have.
They
It's really
will. Eventually,
sad.
at some point in time, they'll get it.
They
They'll
will
get it.
be. They will
Okay,
be.
so first people in line at what again? What time did you say?
6 a.m.
Okay, 6 a.m.
90 minutes before early entry is
And
when I
I
was told
find
to be
Animal
at the
Kingdom
buses.
I find Animal Kingdom one's the one that you really want to be there. That I think that they open that much earlier than the posted time. So
Hmm.
you get there and you get in line, and you're one of the first people in line, I'm assuming.
Yes, we queued up at security. I think there were maybe 10 people in front of us at security.
Wow.
I felt great. We stood there for a while, but I'm sizing out my competition and I'm like, I can speed walk past all of these people in front of us. I'm not
Okay, who
concerned.
got stopped though? How many people got stopped with their bags in your family?
My son got stopped. I said I would wait for him. At first, I was like, you people are on your own. If by day 3 any of you get stopped, like I no, I don't have time for this. But it was he's 17, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll wait for you. Mike and Maddie, you guys go ahead, get us a good spot. Mike, use your long legs. So I waited for Logan and we went and met up with them. There was one family in front of us at the tap styles. I was like, yes, come on, Mike and Maddie. Yes, you guys nailed it.
That's awesome. So you had no problem going to meet your family
We
members,
because no, I am not embarrassed to walk in front of everyone else to meet my party.
right?
I
Normally, like
please.
I'm not gonna skip line in front of 1,000 people, but if like it's
No.
my husband and kid, I'm gonna
There
try.
were just 2 of us. It's one thing when I kind of get like a family
That's
of
not the
maybe
entire
10
Blizzard.
people is coming
Like,
up to meet
hey,
one, but I was like, half my party was already here. I
yeah,
was waiting with my child. It's okay.
yeah,
I'm never gonna see these people again. It's fine.
truth, truth.
It's
Okay,
fine.
so what time did they actually open? Because I always think this is interesting at Animal Kingdom. What time did they let you in?
It was, I would say 2 to 3 minutes before 7:30.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So we have always been let in there at like 7:10, 7:15, like super,
Mm.
like much earlier than the posted early entry time.
Oh, wait, now that you're saying that, just kidding. Do I have a photo of that? So I also didn't know that they play a little recording to kinda let you know that they're about to open the tap style. So I was like, "Oh, this is fun," when it's like, "Welcome to your day at Disney's Animal Kingdom," and I'm listening along, and then I realized that they're letting people in, and I'm just like, "Yes," the adrenaline starts coursing, was super excited. So then the family in front of us all starts fumbling with their cards, and nobody can tap in right, and it's turning blue, and I'm like, "We picked the wrong line." There was only one family in front of us, and it was the wrong line, and then they're, like, handing each other's card. "Wait, I think you have my card, you have my card." I was like, "Oh my god, you guys."
That's me in the grocery store. I always pick the wrong line to the point now that I like to bag my own groceries because at least then I know I'm going through like it's my own fault.
Right? Right? Oh my goodness. Alright, so let's see these. Oh, there's a lot of really awesome photos of the mass of people behind us. So I don't know the exact time when they let us in, but I have a video of us walking through Discovery Island once we've gotten past the early entry tap point, and that's at 7:14.
Okay, so it was
So they
early.
might have opened at, like, 7:11,
Okay.
7:10, 7:11 with the family that had to fumble in front of us.
Yeah, so still about 20 minutes earlier than they said they were going to.
You are, yes, yes, you are right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's been our experience. I don't, I don't know that it's always the norm, but for some reason at Animal Kingdom, they seem to let you in a little earlier. So,
Mhm.
okay. So did you head straight over to Flight of Passage?
We
No.
wrote about dinosaur.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Lonnie G, did you just hear that? They got to Animal Kingdom and they rope dropped Dinosaur. Are you
Yes.
happy now, Lonnie G?
It was the best decision of my life. So everyone's going to the left, we're going to the right, and this is where my family's like, "Do you know where you're going, Mom?" And I was like, "Trust me, everyone. It's gonna be fine." There's nobody in front of us. So we get up to the cast member at the bridge. There's a little division in the pavement where it's marking some different pavement between Discovery Island and Dinoland USA, and that's where he tells us to wait. And I'm like, "We did it! This is like a rope. We're on the rope. You guys, we did it. We actually like pretend somebody's holding something here." And I'm like high-fiving my family and they're like, "You're nuts. We are so tired. It's day 3. What's happening?" That is where we were held until 7:30. And this cast member, bless his heart. I mean, he's looking at his watch. He's like very seriously counting down the time. And I have an Apple Watch, so I can see the seconds ticking. I'm like, wow, he's really gonna wait until exactly 7:30 on the dot.
And he's not interacting with you or having any fun with you or
No.
anything? Oh, okay.
He's just standing there. A couple of other cast members walked past. There were some photo pass that walked. He said hi to them, but no, he wasn't talking to us. He just kept looking at his watch very diligently about the whole like 14, 15 minutes we were waiting there.
Hmm. Okay. I'm sorry. I wanted him to be fun
Okay.
for you. I wanted him to be like,
No, I had a
"Oh, we
great
did it."
time.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, no, it's okay. I
Okay.
had fun without his excitement. He looked like somebody who maybe doesn't get excited a lot, so that's okay. But he did his job. He held us there. There was another family who approached next to us, and I'm looking at them. They had 2 small children. I'm like, "Guys, we're getting on first." So 7:30 comes. He says, "Welcome to Dinoland USA." And I almost cried a little bit because I'm like, it's the last time someone's gonna say that to me. But thank you, sir. And then the other family starts running. And that was the point at which I looked at my kids and I'm like, absolutely no. No, they're breaking the rules. Just let them go. We're going to pretend like they don't exist. They were sprinting, both adults.
No one's saying anything?
Nobody stopped them. They ran past multiple cast members and they just sprinted to Dinosaur. And I was like, you guys, whatever, just let them go. That, yeah, we're following the rules. We're having a great time. So they got so far ahead that then I started taking video and it looked like we were the first ones in. In my heart, we were the first ones there. But that it was great. We're, obviously the first room. They also knew where the door was that exits to the ride vehicles. So it's us standing there with this other dad. And I was like, just let him go. He keeps looking at us like he's wants to trip us or something. Like, let the 4 of them go. I don't want to get into an altercation. So we were in row 2 in the ride vehicle, rode it. Fantastic. My family forgot where they take the photos. So they all either like are looking around. My daughter looks scared. Maddie's actually afraid of the dinosaur. She's seen multiple times. And we get back into where you load and unload, and there's nobody waiting. And the rest of the vehicle exits, and I turn to the cast member there and was like, is there any chance we could ride it again since there's no one here? She kind of takes a second. It's like, yeah, why not? You guys should go on a different row so you can experience a different experience. Head up to the front row. And we're like, okay. So we grab our bags and we get into the front row and there's no one behind us. We're in a totally empty vehicle for ride 2. So at this
Oh,
point, like my kids are loving it. I tell everyone like, okay, the photo's coming up. Like everybody make a funny face. We're going to do like, oh, like a roar, like a dinosaur. And then we get back and there's nobody waiting again. So I look at her and she's like, so my favorite is the back row. You guys need to ride the 3rd time in the back row. And we're like, this is so great. And we get into the back row for our 3rd ride in a row without having to exit. Just right where they stop your vehicle and you would get out to exit, that's where we just hopped out and then jumped in another row, either the first one or the 3rd one. There was one lady who loaded in this time and sat in the front row by herself. And I felt so bad for her because at this point, my kids have now memorized the dialogue. And so they're yelling out lines in sync. We get to the part where there's evasive maneuver and all 4 of us are going left, right, left, right. I'm sure this lady is like, what is happening behind me? My husband decides for the dinosaur, we're going to all pretend like we're asleep. So she looks scared in the photo at the dinosaur, and the 4 of us are just like in the back row. Poor woman.
That makes the story even better.
It was fantastic, and we got back, and there were finally people coming down to ride, and we're like, "You know what, guys? Like, this was perfect. We don't need to ask to go again." We got all 3 rows 3 times in a row. This reminds me of Disney World when I was a kid, that you could just go on it again and again and again in the morning because the lines were so low. So it's like,
That's
for a ride that is going away, nobody's gonna ride it again. Chef's kiss, that was perfect. I can't think of a better farewell to dinosaur. It was
I
worth the rope drop.
cannot wait for Lonnie to hear this. He's gonna be like heart pitter patter, pitter patter.
It was fantastic. My kids loved it. I felt like that while all of these trips have been core memories, like that's the thing that they'll remember. Like
Yeah,
when we went on Dinosaur 3 times in a row in the morning and got
yeah,
to sit in the different rows.
that's
So
really
I was glad we got to experience that. It was
that's
awesome.
special. And unplanned and not like something that
Totally.
you could have scripted. So
No, no, and that cast member was amazing. I did not get her name to give her a cast compliment, but I had these little cards with Mickey heads on them that just said, "Thank you for being part of the magic." So I stopped and pulled one out and gave it to her and kinda gave her a side hug and said, "Thank you so much. You made
that's
her day."
I love it. That makes me happy. Okay, how do you top that?
We went to Everest next and rode that twice in a row. We did have to exit and go back in through the queue, but there was no one there. It was still final minutes before the rest of the park opened to regular park guests, so yeah, and my son really dislikes that ride with how fast it gets.
Yikes.
So we, yeah, just took a regular face for the first picture, and then the second one, I was like, "You know what, guys? I'm gonna be on my phone. I'm gonna hold it. I know it gets really speedy,
Okay,
but
our next lightning
I
lane.
was yeah, I have this picture where, like, I'm totally straight faced. I have my phone out looking just kinda, like, bored, like I'm on my phone, and my son looks like he's about to die in the photo. It's great.
Oh, I feel bad
Great. So
for him.
after 2, he was like, "I'm good. We don't
Yeah,
need to do this one
yeah.
3 times in a row."
Yeah, and well, and Dinosaur is a little herky jerky too. So you went from
It
herky
is.
jerky to like high speed, that I can kind of see where he's coming
It
from.
is. Oh, I forgot to add that in the 3rd row was superior to any row I have ever I've never ridden in the back row before. It was awesome. She also told us not to hold on, which I have never not done as well, and all 3 of us put our hands up, and we were slamming into each other the whole time. It was quite the experience.
Well,
It
glad
was
that you had one special last
yeah,
moment and something new.
it was
Yeah.
great. It was great. From that, we had more lightning lanes we were going through. We rode the safari, Festival of the Lion King that 3 of us had not done before. My daughter had done it by herself once. I had never experienced it. That was a fantastic show.
Wow.
Yeah, never seen it.
Can't believe you
The line is always so long. It's been really intimidating that we walk up and we're kinda like, "Ooh, we don't wanna do it that badly. That looks really intense."
yeah,
It was great.
good. I'm glad that's fantastic.
Great show. Yeah, amazing performers in that. We did Navi River Journey. We had an individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage, so we used that as well.
That makes sense. And
That was a good use of our funds
yeah.
because it definitely started to pick up that day. We were now in Memorial Day weekend proper with it being Saturday,
Mm.
and even Animal Kingdom, which I know sometimes doesn't get as crowded as the other parks, the crowds were really starting to pick up that day.
Did you eat any place fun that day?
We ended up eating at Harambe Market, which we'd never eaten at before. That was great. I mean, we were hungry and needed something, and that fit the bill. I mean, we just sat in silence, all 4 of us, and just ate our food.
I like it there. My problem with Animal Kingdom is I like too much of the food there,
Mm,
and I wish that some of those great options were available, especially at Magic Kingdom. Magic
mm.
Kingdom's
I
great,
agree with you.
but, yeah. Well, that's good.
We
Okay,
were
so
trying to do
these are
something new because we love Satuli Canteen. We always do that. We've done Nomad Lounge. We did have a reservation at Tiffin's. I was unaware of the price point of it when I booked it, and I thought especially for lunch and we just wanted to eat, it didn't seem like it was gonna be anything special for us. We were hot. It's like, "Let's not spend all of this money for us
mhm,
to just get some food in our systems."
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, what we had was great, and then we had an Everest Lightning Lane remaining, and Logan was like, "I think I can do it." I've just eaten lunch, but this was the point at which we said, "Now let's really have some fun with these photos." I've seen before people reading a map. So why don't we get 4 Animal Kingdom maps and we're gonna be looking at the map when they take the picture. The 3 of us did this successfully. Logan was holding the map with one hand, And so his hand is up in the air and you can tell that it is about to fly from his grasp. He just, and he did, he lost it, which I'm not proud to admit. But yes, the rest of us have a two-handed hold. We were ready to go. We had them, fireworks.
Yeah, you give yourself fireworks.
They were in our little pouches. So the point at which the ride stops and then from going backwards and the track resets. I was like, okay, everyone, get your maps, get ready. We had our two-handed hold and and I don't know why he put one hand in the air too. And oh, poor Logan.
Seemed like a good idea at the time, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But
All right, so
that was the end of our Animal Kingdom portion.
And then did you park hop anywhere else?
We did. We had left this open. We hadn't made any reservations, like whatever we feel like doing. Is there a park we want to revisit? Are there some rides we missed? So we went back to Magic Kingdom.
Okay. And crush that. And then did you stay for fireworks that night?
We did not. We decided to do rides during the fireworks, hoping that the lines might be a little shorter. And so the four of us stayed together for most of the day. We ended up grabbing a reservation at Grand Floridian Cafe, which I had eaten at during a race weekend, really liked, told my family it would be great. So we hopped out just before dinner. We took a boat over. That was the one day we experienced just a little bit of rain. It wasn't too bad. We happened to get a downpour that we missed when we were in PhilharMagic. When you come out and the pavement is really wet and you see people in soaking t-shirts.
Like, oh, we missed it.
So thankful. So yeah, it continued to it was like sprinkling a little bit. The kids had rain jackets. Mike and I had left our rain jackets and our bag covers in the hotel, obviously.
Oh, good.
So we just sucked it up. We each had a hat on that day. It was fine. So yeah, dinner was great. Everybody loved it. At that point, Logan decided he was tired. So he went back to the resort by himself. Maddie actually left before the bill came because she wanted to start cruising through rides on her own at Magic Kingdom. She was like, I know how to use the app. I'm going to get in. I'm going to book my own lightning lanes. This is going to be great. Like, see you later. So, okay. And then Mike and I weren't sure if we would go back, if we would go to Epcot. We kind of started doing the time and we're like, you know what? If we're right here by Magic Kingdom, why don't we just pop in? We have some of our old classic favorites are here. So Mike and I got a little bit of time to ourselves that last night. Maddie got some alone time. Logan got some alone time. It worked for everyone.
That's perfect. Nice way to finish the trip.
Yeah.
So then next morning is pack up and say goodbye?
It was, sadly, yes, was our departure day. So we got all packed up out of our room that we thanked for the memories because the setup was so great. We left our bags with Bell Services and we headed over to the boardwalk because we had a cake bake reservation.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. Was this a breakfast reservation?
It was, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've not heard a breakfast review. So tell me, what do you think?
It was great. We would all go back again. This was the first time for all four of us.
That's a 4 for 4 rating. That's,
yes.
4 out of the 4 of you like it.
It's,
and what did you, like, I know I've heard there's like an egg sandwich and there's some quiche and there's this and that. Anything really stand out that was fantastic?
Everything was great. All of our dishes. What did we get? I got the croque monsieur. Mike got the croque madame. I don't remember what the kids got, but they loved theirs. My daughter got the unicorn hot chocolate, which comes with this pink kind of whipped cream with sprinkles you can put on top. So that's cute. Mike had, I think he got did he get a cocktail? I got nice coffee. Like mine had glitter in it. I think Mike's also had glitter. Logan ordered tea and was disappointed there was no glitter in his tea. Like we could probably ask. Oh, that's right. Maddie ordered something off the kids menu and she saw that you got a coloring sheet and colored pencils, which then she just diligently started coloring. It was like, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not throwing this away. I'm going to keep this. She was working really hard on it. And Logan was not ordering off the kids menu, but he's kind of longingly looking at her coloring page and asked her server, I'm like, I know. No, he didn't order from the kids menu and he's a little bit older. Could we get a second? He's like, don't worry about it. I got you. Come and brought a set for Logan. So he's coloring too. And I'm like, this is great. I mean, this is part of why I love Disney. My kids are about to be seniors in high school and for a lot of things are too cool for them. But here they're sitting at breakfast and they're each coloring. And nobody's judging them and nobody's making fun of them saying you're uncool for doing this.
They get a chance to just be themselves and enjoy themselves and be kids.
They do.
It's a reason why we all like it as adults too, as we get to be kids.
Very true. Yeah.
Well, what a spectacular way to end your trip. I mean, and I'm so glad to hear that you had a great experience at Cake Bake Shop because I have heard the food is fabulous. Now, the original Cake Bake Shop's only an hour and a half from my house. And
Oh,
my best friend lives in Indianapolis, and I keep saying like I need to just go there and try it instead of flying to Disney to try it.
yeah.
But now, did you get any cake to go or any dessert to go?
We did not. We had identified some desserts that we were going to order, and then by the time our food, we couldn't finish our plates. We're like, all right, let's just let that go.
Yeah, yeah,
Next time, add it to the list for next time.
yeah. Well, that's the best thing is you can always talk
Yeah,
about next time. We're always talking about next time. So,
of
all right.
course.
So then, did you walk around, or was it time just to head back to get to the airport?
No, we'd had a late flight, so we went over to Disney Springs. So we caught a bus from Boardwalk to Disney Springs, spent some time there. We always like going in World of Disney, shopped in some of the other shops there. And from there, we took a boat to French Quarter. My family had not experienced beignets before, Mickey beignets, and I thought that would be fun. So we did that, had an order of those, and then we caught a ride share over to Animal Kingdom Lodge because I wanted to try the bread service from Sanaa. So the lounge was busy. I think the restaurant was closed since we were there a little bit early and the lounge was busy, but I waited at the bar and got it in a bag to go. Couldn't find a place to sit, so we sat in the lobby, like in the middle of people checking in and checking out. I'm sure the cast members were like, okay, sure. And
I
just
mean,
like ate it with our hands, opened up all the dips, and like, we're gonna make the most of this, guys. Let's do it.
I love that bread service and I love all the dips.
And
And I always have a hard time deciding which is my favorite. I'm like, that's my favorite. Nope, that's my favorite. Nope,
yeah,
that's my favorite. And I
yeah, we were doing the same thing. So good.
equal opportunity lover of sauces and dips. So,
Mhm.
can't help myself. Well, that's a great day. Like
Yeah.
lots of fun dining, lots of fun thing. You've hit a couple of resorts. I mean, Boardwalk and Animal Kingdom and French Quarter and Disney Springs. That's a great way to spend the last day without going to the parks.
It was, yes. Yes, that was nice. Loved it. Had a great time.
And then was your flight home smoother than your flight in?
No, our flight home was delayed almost 3 hours. We
Oh, so you
really
were already
had
at the airport at that point in time?
mhm. We
Oh,
were. We were. We were. We were able to have dinner at a restaurant, so we got a little bit of time that we weren't just sitting at the gate, but it was one of these delays where they just keep pushing it back by 20 minutes, a half an hour, another half an hour. Really bad storms moved through the area that extended all the way up to Atlanta. And we were flying Delta, so it was a lot of connections that had been missed. It was flight crews that hadn't made it to where they were supposed to be. So it seemed like that was the issue for all of the flights that departed as late as ours. They were waiting
you
on pilots, they were waiting on flight
you
attendants.
were flying into Logan?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was really unfortunate. We were supposed to get in at 11 p.m. We landed around 1:30. We also live an hour from the airport. So by the time we got to our car at 2 a.m., we didn't make it home until 3 a.m. on
Oh,
Memorial Day. It
that's a long day.
it was very long.
And you're
Yep.
like, "But this morning we had Cake Bake Shop, everybody."
Right? So, yeah, like falling asleep in the car. I'm trying to remember like, yeah, it was a great end to the trip, everyone.
Well, I'm sorry your flight was not great on
That's
the way
okay.
home, but you get those storms, poof, when they come through, they really wreak havoc. But overall, what an amazing trip and great opportunity for some family time. I'm sure it was weird since it was just the 4 of you and not the 5 of you. But you got to stay at a new resort, you got to try new things, you had new experiences, new restaurants. It sounded like it was other than the extreme heat, it was a really wonderful trip.
It really was, and it was fun, like I said, to experience it with just 2 of my kids. I've heard people talk about that, taking certain kids with them to Disney and how it kinda gives them an opportunity to do more of what they wanna do, and that was really fun. We also recently added a second dog to our family, a puppy, so Scott stayed home and watched the 2 dogs. So it was a win-win for everyone. We gave him some money to order some dinners in, and everybody had a good time.
Good, good. So, Molly, what is your next trip to Disney?
My next trip will be a very short one for Wine and Dine weekend. I am just coming in to go to the after party with all of my lizard friends. I fly in late on Saturday night and yeah, we'll be there all day Sunday. I fly out Monday afternoon. So get maybe like a day and a half in the parks and with my friends. And then after that, marathon weekend in January, where I will be running my first ever marathon. It is
Well,
time.
you will be great. Well, I will be there for both those weekends, and I can't
Great.
wait to see you.
It'll be awesome. It's going to be a good time as always. Run Disney race weekends are the best weekends.
They are. Marathon weekend in particular has, well, I love the after party. I really do love the wine and dine after party, but yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, last year was my first time doing that, so I'm super excited to do it again, and I won't be sleep deprived because I'm not waking up like you guys and running the half.
Well, I have a different strategy this year. I am not walking up to Guardians. I am just not going to do it. I'm just going to go enjoy the food and sit down and relax. And
Exactly.
I don't need to ride Guardians for the 900th time. So, anyway, well, my friend, thank you for sharing your trip with us. It sounded like it was a great time to spend time as a family and get to do all the things that you love, try some new things, try a new resort, and make it through the heat. So it gets hot there, but May is that's a little shocking. But thank you very much for spending time with us, and I look forward to seeing you in October.
Yes, it'll be great. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. Always fun to recap these trips.
And always great to have you as a guest. So thanks again. All right. With that, bye, friends. Have a great day.